If you've ever felt stuck, unmotivated, or lost in the cycle of starting and stopping, this is your turning point. Consistency isn't talent. It isn't luck. It's choice. And when you force yourself to be consistent, even when it's boring, painful, or invisible, you win. Because every time you show up, you are proving to your mind that you're no longer controlled by emotions, distractions, or fear. This is how you take back control. Discipline builds momentum. Momentum builds destiny. But only if you stay in motion. In few moments, you will learn how to force consistency in your life, even when motivation dies and resistance rises. Consistency is the silent force behind every significant achievement. Your journey to greatness depends heavily on mastering this one trait. Every individual who achieves lasting success does so by maintaining unwavering focus on their goals, no matter how monotonous the daily tasks might feel. Picture consistency as a river, steadily carving through stone. With patience, it shapes entire landscapes. Proverbs 21:5 assures, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance." Take small, deliberate actions daily toward your objectives. Reflect on Thomas Edison, who, through persistent experimentation, illuminated the world. His consistency transformed thousands of failures into one revolutionary success. Embrace this relentless approach and watch your dreams become reality. Consistency is the silent force behind every significant achievement. Your journey to greatness depends heavily on mastering this one trait. Every individual who achieves lasting success does so by maintaining unwavering focus on their goals, no matter how monotonous the daily tasks might feel. Picture consistency as a river, steadily carving through stone. With patience, it shapes entire landscapes. Proverbs 21:5 assures, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance." Take small, deliberate actions daily toward your objectives. Reflect on Thomas Edison, who, through persistent experimentation, illuminated the world. His consistency transformed thousands of failures into one revolutionary success. Embrace this relentless approach and watch your dreams become reality. What if the strongest weapon you ever possessed was your own predictability? What if, instead of being surprised by your moods, tempted by your fears, or distracted by chaos, you became the kind of person whose actions became inevitable? When your discipline becomes consistent, your strength multiplies, not in noise, but in quiet certainty. The world bends to the man or woman who can bend themselves. Most people live in reaction. One day they're motivated, the next they're lost. But what separates those who rise, those who build a legacy, is their ability to expect from themselves the same effort, the same excellence, the same non-negotiables every day. Why do we trust the sunrise? Because it never fails. Wouldn't your life transform if you became that dependable to yourself? Ask yourself, what would my life look like if I showed up every single day, regardless of feelings? What would happen if I no longer needed to be inspired to be disciplined? Are you the type who starts strong and fades, or the one who finishes what they start, no matter how long it takes? You must begin by defining your standards. Set simple, manageable steps tied to your goals. Not grand resolutions, but daily disciplines. Then train your mind to honor them as sacred. No negotiations, no excuses. Each act of consistency builds a deeper trust in yourself, and trust is the foundation of confidence. Galatians 6:9 reminds us, "Let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." That is not a metaphor, it is a spiritual law. And if you abide by it, not just on the good days, but on the difficult ones, you will see the harvest. Benjamin Franklin. He didn't rely on motivation. He constructed systems, daily habits so defined that his success became predictable. His schedule included time for learning, reflection, planning, and contribution. He trusted his design more than his desires. So I ask you, are your days designed or are they drifting? Is your routine producing your future, or are you gambling with potential? Do your actions echo your purpose or only your feelings? Let this be your creed. I will become so consistent in my effort that even I can count on who I'll be tomorrow. That is strength. That is mastery. And that is how legacies are written. in the ink of discipline on the paper of daily life. Stop being surprised by your own inconsistency. Start becoming proud of your predictability. Your future is not hidden, it is habitual. It is easy to begin with fire in your belly, but can you still move forward when the flame becomes faint? True consistency does not rely on energy, applause, or perfect timing. It draws strength from within. A man with a clear compass does not need the world to cooperate. He simply needs to know his direction. Excitement is fleeting. Passion comes in waves. But those who achieve, those who build legacies, are not powered by temporary highs. They are powered by decisions made in advance. Decisions rooted in values, not moods. Can you continue walking the path when no one is watching, when no one claps, when your feet are tired and the scenery looks the same? Most people mistake activity for progress. They start strong and stall quickly, hoping emotion will carry them. But consistency, the kind that shapes destiny, doesn't live in emotional surges. It lives in daily, grounded action. The question is not how hard you can sprint today, but how steadily you can walk for the next 10 years. Ask yourself, what values define you when the excitement is gone? Are your actions aligned with your core, or are they reactions to the outside world? Do you have a compass, or do you chase the wind? Romans 12:12 calls us to a deeper strength. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. That is not a call to hype. It is a call to anchor. Joy when nothing changes. Patience when the storm won't pass. Faithfulness even when the result is unseen. That is consistency. Look to Henry Ford, not the man who simply built cars, but the man who built the process that built cars. When his ideas were mocked, when his prototypes failed, when his factories faced collapse, he remained committed. His vision did not depend on approval. His work flowed from a compass that never wavered. So, what about you? Is your consistency conditional or is it anchored? Are your habits built around convenience or conviction? When the noise fades and the journey stretches long, will you still be found at the work, doing what you said you'd do? You must build routines not around emotion, but around identity. Your routines should be mirrors of who you truly are, not how you feel. And the more you honor them, the more your purpose becomes clear, not because the world changed, but because you did. Let this truth sink deep. You don't need to be loud to be effective. You don't need to be seen to be significant. You need only to be consistent. Let your daily actions declare your purpose, even if no one else hears. Consistency is not a product of the perfect day. It is the proof of a prepared soul. Make the decision today. I will not let circumstances shake my vision. I will walk by principle, not pressure, and I will keep walking until the road itself changes under the weight of my commitment. Hard work is not the secret to success. Strategic focus is. You can pour your energy into 1,000 directions and still feel like you're standing still. But when your actions are aligned with a single, clearly defined goal, your results compound. You are not weak, you are just distracted. Most people confuse motion with meaning. They chase busyness instead of progress. But ask yourself, what is all this effort producing? Are your days moving you closer to a vision or simply keeping you occupied? Imagine what would happen if your time, talent, and tenacity were pointed like an arrow, not flung in every direction, but disciplined into one. Suddenly, the impossible becomes inevitable. Focus turns ordinary effort into extraordinary force. Ask yourself, what am I truly working toward? Are my actions today aligned with that destination, or am I spreading myself too thin, saying yes to things that dilute my impact? Proverbs 16:3 gives us a divine strategy. Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. This is not just a spiritual sentiment, it is a blueprint. Commit, focus, simplify. Once you dedicate your efforts toward a purpose greater than yourself, the chaos clears. Your direction becomes divine. The question is, have you defined what matters most? Have you drawn a line between what is urgent and what is essential? Have you simplified your goals into daily actions that build towards something monumental? Strategic focus is not about doing more, It is about doing less with more intention. It is about subtracting the noise and elevating the signal. What you remove is just as powerful as what you pursue. Think of Thomas Edison. He wasn't just working hard, he was working toward a single obsession, electric light. Thousands of failed attempts didn't distract him because the target never changed. His strategy? Clear focus, endless refinement, and relentless consistency. You must develop a similar system. Define your major objective, break it into manageable priorities, then let every daily action revolve around that center. When you wake up in the morning, your first thought should not be, what do I need to do? But rather, what will move me closer to the mission? Strategic focus creates clarity, and clarity births momentum. You are no longer pulled by the demands of others, but driven by a personal vision. You do not scatter your seeds, you plant them deeply in one field, and you water them daily. So what field are you planting in? What dream deserves your full force? Are you still being pulled in 10 directions, or have you chosen the one that leads you home? Consistency without focus is just exhaustion, but consistency with focus, that's breakthrough. Make the shift. Don't just work hard, work right. Prioritize your energy, simplify your goals, and let every action count. Your future isn't found in your effort. It's found in your aim. Every single day you are casting votes for the kind of future you will live. The ballot? Your choices. And while the world may not see these decisions, your destiny does. You are not shaped by one grand act of brilliance, but by small, consistent decisions made when no one is watching. The question is, are you building your dreams or quietly abandoning them with each careless choice? You must understand this law. Your future is not an accident. It is a byproduct of discipline, the food you eat, the thoughts you allow, the words you speak, the work you either start or postpone. Every action either builds the foundation of success or chips away at it. Most people want transformation without transaction. They desire the reward but reject the repetition. But the truth is this: greatness grows not from what you do once, but from what you choose daily, especially when it's boring, especially when it's hard, especially when no applause follows. Ask yourself, what are my decisions saying about the person I am becoming? Simplify your goals and let every action count. Are my habits aligned with the vision I say I want, or are they quietly voting against it? 1 Corinthians 15:58 calls us higher. Stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, not halfway, not sometimes, but fully. That kind of devotion is not loud, but it is legendary. Wilma Rudolph. As a child, she was told she would never walk again. Polio and paralysis tried to write her story in defeat, but Wilma rewrote it in discipline. She showed up every day for grueling rehabilitation. No spotlight, no certainty, just choice, stacked upon choice. And one day, the girl who couldn't walk ran into Olympic gold. So how about you? Are your daily choices protecting your dream or putting it at risk? Are you living with intentionality or just hoping success finds you by accident? You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the strength of your systems. That means you must design your days to support your destiny. You must ask, what does the best version of me choose today? And then choose it again and again, especially when no one notices. The compound interest of discipline is real. One powerful choice seems small today, but string enough of them together and you build an unshakable future. Your dream is not in danger because of a single bad day. It's in danger when you stop choosing it. When you stop waking up with the mindset, today I vote for my vision. Today I walk like the person I intend to become. Let your choices preach. Let them declare your intent. Let them be louder than your excuses. This is your power. You don't need perfect conditions to make perfect choices. Stand firm, let nothing move you, not laziness, not discouragement, not distraction. Your life is not shaped by what you intend, but by what you consistently do. So choose well and keep choosing, because your destiny is watching, and it's shaped by every step you take, especially the unseen ones. Every monumental achievement the world has ever witnessed began the same way, as a simple thought, a flicker in the mind, an invisible picture seen only by its dreamer. The skyscraper, the airplane, the cure, All of them started as visions, not realities. But an idea alone is powerless until one force breathes life into it: consistent action. You may have a vision so grand it shakes your soul, but if it lives only in your imagination, it remains a fantasy. It's not enough to dream, you must build. You must show up every single day and chip away at the invisible until it becomes seen. Think of a magnifying glass held under the blazing sun. Move it around constantly and nothing happens, but hold it still, focused on one point, and eventually fire ignites. That fire is not from force, but from focus consistency. Your dreams work the same way. Keep scattering your energy and nothing will burn. But hold your focus and the impossible ignites. Ask yourself, what is the dream I've carried but never acted on? Have I allowed motion to replace movement? Have I confused intention for execution? Set daily targets. Not grand gestures, but clear and manageable steps. Break your vision into daily tasks so small they are impossible to avoid. Then complete them without fail. Not for motivation, not for results, but because your identity depends on it. Every completed task becomes a silent vote for who you are becoming. Momentum isn't magic, it's made. It's the reward of repetition. When your wins pile up, so does your belief. And with belief comes clarity, and with clarity, the confidence to act without hesitation. Genesis 6 tells the story of Noah. God gave him a vision, an ark. But God did not build it, Noah did. Day by day, plank by plank, amidst laughter, amidst doubt, amidst years of delay, still he built. His belief wasn't shown in speeches, it was proven in sweat. Noah's hands turned vision into vessel, and when the flood came, what others mocked became the only thing that survived. So I ask you, are you still waiting for perfect timing, or are you already holding the hammer? Are you still watching the weather, or building through the storm? Have you accepted that your dream is your responsibility? The world does not reward imagination alone. It rewards imagination made visible through effort. Your vision is your ark. The ridicule, let it rain. The delay, let it teach. The loneliness, let it refine. But never, ever let the work stop. One steady hand, one focused heart, one day at a time. That's all it takes to create something the world cannot ignore. Because what began as a whisper in your soul can one day roar across the earth if you build it. So rise, hammer in hand, head held high, and build. The world is waiting for what only your consistency can birth. Doubt is a thief. It doesn't shout, it whispers. Soft lies that crawl into your mind and poison your potential. You're not ready. You're not enough. You'll never make it. These voices are subtle but deadly. Fear follows close behind, binding your ambition, shrinking your actions, and trapping you in a life smaller than what you're called to live. But here's the truth. Consistency is the antidote. You don't have to fight doubt with force. You fight it with faithful repetition. Fear doesn't need to be conquered in a single day. It needs to be starved day by choosing action over anxiety. When you shift your focus from outcomes to daily effort, the grip of fear loosens because every step forward, no matter how small, is a strike against self-doubt. Ask yourself, have I been waiting to feel brave before taking action? Have I let my emotions control my consistency? What would happen if I acted anyway despite how I felt? Train your mind to follow a rhythm of discipline. Start small. It's not the size of the step, it's the steadiness. Pick something meaningful and commit to it daily. As you stack wins, you reinforce your belief in yourself. This repetition forms armor, not flashy, not loud, but strong, protective, permanent. Confidence isn't a gift, it's a result, and it's built not in bold moments, but in quiet ones, when you keep going without applause. When you follow through, even when fear tries to hold you back. That's how you become fearless, not by eliminating fear, but by consistently walking through it. David, the young shepherd, in 1 Samuel 17, he faced Goliath. Everyone saw a boy, but David saw a familiar fight. His courage wasn't sudden, it was prepared. Every day he protected his sheep. Every day he practiced with his sling, the lion, the bear, the lonely fields. These were his training grounds. When the giant appeared, he didn't need to summon strength. He had already become strong through consistency. That stone wasn't lucky, it was practiced. That courage wasn't random, it was rehearsed. So how are you preparing in your field? Are you training while no one is watching? Are you strengthening your sling even when there's no giant in sight? Don't wait for fear to vanish, it won't. But it will lose power when it sees you keep moving. Don't wait to feel bold. Be consistent, and boldness will find you. Doubt cannot survive in the face of daily proof. Fear cannot thrive when met with forward motion. Your steps matter. Your routine matters. Your discipline matters. Because every time you choose effort over excuse, you declare to fear, "You don't own me." Keep showing up. Keep preparing. Keep believing. The giant will fall, not because you were fearless, but because you were faithful. Your victory is in your routine. Your strength is in your steps. So move, and keep moving. The battlefield is not out there, it's within you. And with consistency, you win it. Your legacy is not built on what you say, it is built on what you do. People may hear your words, but they will remember your patterns. It's not the promises you make that define you, it's the ones you keep. And every time you honor your word, especially in the quiet, unnoticed moments, you place another brick in the monument of your reputation. Consistency is the currency of trust. Those who build it are the ones others follow, respect, and elevate. When your actions match your words, not once, but daily, you broadcast something powerful. I can be counted on. And that reliability over time becomes the most valuable asset you possess. Ask yourself, am I living in alignment with what I claim to believe? Are my daily actions proving my principles, or are they betraying them? Do people know me by my integrity or just my intentions? The world doesn't reward charisma nearly as much as it rewards character. And character is forged in routine, not rhetoric. If you want to influence others, if you want your name to be spoken with respect, you must become predictably excellent. That begins with daily habits. Build routines that reflect your highest values. Don't aim for perfection, aim for pattern. Let your life be so consistent that people know what to expect from you, because what you deliver never wavers. Whether in business, family, or personal growth, show up with the same dedication regardless of applause. Let your consistency declare, I am the same person in public as I am in private. I don't just talk about discipline, I live it. I don't just speak of integrity, I act on it. Consider Daniel from the pages of Scripture. In Daniel 6, we read that he prayed 3 times a day, every day, despite knowing it could cost him his life. That wasn't a performance, that was pattern. And that pattern spoke louder than any speech he could have given. His consistency shaped his reputation, so much so that even his enemies knew they could only trap him by targeting his faithfulness. And when the test came, when the lions roared, Daniel's consistency became his shield. His steadfastness elevated him into positions of influence, favor, and honor. Your life may never face a lion's den, but you will face pressure. You will face trials that tempt you to compromise. In those moments, your reputation will not be protected by what you wish you'd done. It will be protected by what you trained yourself to do daily. Let the world see your integrity, not because you announce it, but because you live it. Let your coworkers, your family, your community say, that person does what they say. They don't flinch. They don't fake. They finish. Your habits are your testimony. Your repetition is your reputation. So choose today to align your actions with your values, set your rituals, live them out, and do so without fail. Because the world doesn't remember the loudest voices. It remembers the most consistent ones. Your name, your legacy, your future will be built by the consistency of your character. Buried inside you is an extraordinary reservoir of untapped potential waiting. It does not scream, it does not demand. It simply waits patiently for one thing, your consistency. Not your talent, not your perfection, but your disciplined daily commitment to bring it forth. You were not created to live an average life, but average becomes your reality when consistency is absent. Greatness is never revealed in one grand moment. It is uncovered layer by layer, choice by choice, through the steady work of self-mastery. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are turning a key. Every small act of diligence, every deliberate moment of practice, every refusal to quit, that is your soul unlocking doors you didn't know were there. You don't need a miracle, you need to stay with it. Ask yourself, what gifts have I left dormant simply because I lack the patience to be consistent? How many abilities remain hidden behind my excuses? What could happen if I chose to keep going, especially when it's hard? To unlock your full potential, you must show up daily, not occasionally, not only when inspired, but every day, because repetition is the sculptor of excellence. Focus your energy on refining a skill, acquiring knowledge, or fortifying your mindset. Each day you commit, the effect compounds. What once seemed impossible slowly becomes inevitable. This process isn't loud, it's not glamorous, but it is powerful. Small, unseen improvements begin stacking, and suddenly you stand out, not because you tried harder, but because you kept showing up. Joseph from the book of Genesis, chapters 39-41. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit, and yet he remained consistent. In every season of his life, Joseph chose excellence. As a servant, he managed Potiphar's house with integrity. As a prisoner, he rose to lead. And because of that pattern, when Pharaoh needed wisdom, Joseph's potential was ready to rise. Joseph didn't gain power in a single day. He earned it through years of consistent discipline. His greatness wasn't granted, it was revealed. And that's how your story will unfold too. You don't need to be discovered, you need to be developed. And development requires a rhythm, a routine, a commitment to show up even when you feel forgotten. Your full potential is not buried by your circumstances, it's buried by inconsistency. Remove the layers day by day and watch what emerges. What if 1 year from now you are unrecognizable because you committed to daily excellence? What if the world sees you as gifted, but only because you made the decision to stay disciplined in the dark? That's the truth. Greatness begins in obscurity. It grows in silence. It blooms through repetition. And then, suddenly, it cannot be ignored. Embrace consistency. Let it be your tool. Let it be your key. Let it be your daily declaration that you were made for more. Because within you is something far greater than even you can imagine. And it's waiting for you to unlock it. Adversity is not your enemy, it is your refiner. Life will test you, it will stretch your patience, press on your weaknesses, and threaten the very dreams you hold dear. But hidden in every challenge is a sacred invitation to grow. The question is not if trials will come, but how you will respond when they do. And the most powerful response? Consistency. When the storm comes, most people react in panic. They abandon their routines, drop their standards, and wait for calm to return. But the ones who rise, the ones who transform adversity into advantage, are those who remain steady. They don't retreat, they repeat. They hold to their disciplines, they trust the process, and in doing so, they turn chaos into clarity. Ask yourself, what habits have I abandoned the moment life became hard? Have I let difficulty disrupt my discipline, or have I chosen to anchor deeper, knowing that storms pass but character endures? Adversity is not a detour, it's the path. It forges strength, humility, and endurance, and when met with consistency, it becomes a platform instead of a prison. The key is to maintain your daily practices, your mindset rituals, your health routines, your spiritual disciplines, even when you don't feel like it. Consistency in the face of hardship is not weakness, it is warrior strength. Every time you continue to act with excellence despite external pressure, you are building a resilience that no easy day could ever give you. Consider the Apostle Paul. In Philippians 1:12-14, he writes from prison, "Not with despair, but with clarity. What has happened to me has actually served to advance the gospel." Paul was shipwrecked, beaten, chained, and yet he preached, not once, not occasionally, but constantly. He didn't see the chains as limits, he saw them as leverage. Each prison cell became a pulpit, each hardship a platform. His consistency wasn't rooted in circumstance, it was rooted in conviction. So what about you? Will you let the storm silence your discipline? or will you let discipline silence the storm? Will you use the setback as an excuse or as a signal to double down on your values? Let every trial become proof of your perseverance. When others waver, stand firm. When the world shakes, remain planted. When your feelings scream to give up, act with principle, not emotion. Every time you rise when life tries to bury you, you write a testimony, a story of courage, a story of endurance, and eventually, a story of victory. Let adversity become your ally. Let pain become your professor. Let difficulty become the gym where your mental, emotional, and spiritual muscles are trained. Your future will not be built in times of comfort. It will be forged in discomfort by showing up anyway. The storms you face today are not meant to break you. They are meant to build you. And the bridge from trial to triumph is spelled with one word: consistency. So walk through the storm with your head high and your habits strong, because what was sent to stop you may just be the thing that launches you. Stay consistent and let adversity do its work. You keep waiting to feel ready, waiting for the right mood, the right quote, the right sunrise to flip the switch in your soul. You scroll through inspiration, hoping it will ignite your ambition. But what if motivation never shows up? What if the door you're waiting to open is already unlocked, waiting not for your feelings, but for your discipline? The truth is simple and unchanging. Results don't come to the most inspired. They come to the most consistent. We live in a world addicted to highs. We chase adrenaline, emotion, and perfect conditions. But emotion is a terrible master. It's fickle. It disappears. If your discipline is built on emotion, your progress will vanish the moment life gets hard. Ask yourself, what would happen if I stopped depending on how I felt? What if my next breakthrough didn't come from a rush of motivation, but from my quiet decision to move anyway? You must stop worshiping your moods. Instead, build systems that move you regardless of them. Systems of truth, systems of action, systems of routine, rituals that remain in place whether the day is golden or gray. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you belong. It is not dramatic, but it delivers. Every single time. Train yourself to act no matter what. Build habits that carry you forward when your feelings fail. Lock in your schedule. Honor your priorities. And most importantly, move your feet when your mind screams for comfort. Think of Elijah in 1 Kings 19. This was the same prophet who called down fire from heaven, who stood before kings, who saw miracles firsthand, and yet there came a moment when he sat under a tree and begged God to take his life. Even the strongest get tired. But Elijah's story didn't end there. God met him in his weariness, not with a shout, but with a whisper, and he gave him one instruction: get up, walk. Move to the next place I'll show you. And Elijah obeyed, not because he felt strong, but because he chose obedience over emotion. That's what made him great. Not just the mountaintop miracles, but the valley decisions, the choice to rise when everything in him wanted to lie down. So what about you? Are you living in waiting, hoping to feel ready, hoping the mood will return? Or are you building a foundation that can stand even when your emotions collapse? Greatness isn't built in moments of passion. It's built in habits of persistence, not just when the sun shines, but especially when it doesn't. You don't need to feel good to do what's right. You need to do what's right and let the feelings follow. Get up, build, move, create, not because you're motivated, but because you've decided you're meant for more. Discipline is greater than desire. Consistency is stronger than inspiration. And your will, if trained, can carry you through storms no spark of motivation ever could. So today, rise, show up, and take the next step. Not because it feels good, but because greatness requires it. Say the word discipline and watch how people flinch. They think of chains, of restriction, of a joyless grind. But what if we've misunderstood it all along? What if discipline isn't a prison, but a pathway? What if the man who embraces discipline doesn't lose freedom, but finally gains it? Because the undisciplined man is not free, he is ruled. Ruled by cravings, ruled by emotions, ruled by whatever impulse grabs him next. His days are dictated by distraction, his future hijacked by his inability to say no. But the disciplined man, he is a king. He commands his time. He commands his mind. He acts, not out of feeling, but out of vision. Discipline is not a cage, it's control. Ask yourself, do I live by design or by default? Do I command my day or do I simply react to it? Am I building a future or just surviving one? When you build structure into your life, your mind gets stronger. When you follow through on even the smallest commitments, your self-respect grows. And when you control how you begin each day, you start influencing how it ends. Master the morning. Don't scroll, center. Don't delay, move. Don't drift, decide. The man who controls the morning controls the momentum. And with momentum comes progress. This isn't theory, it's truth. The Apostle Paul understood this. In 1 Corinthians 9:27, he declared, I discipline my body and make it my slave, so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified. That wasn't weakness. That was warrior precision. Paul didn't fear falling. He feared failing to finish. And so must you. Discipline is not punishment, it's protection. It protects your purpose from being stolen by laziness. It guards your potential from being wasted by excuses. You think doing whatever you want, whenever you want, is freedom? No, that's chaos. Freedom is having the strength to choose what is right, even when everything in you wants to choose what is easy. Discipline sharpens your character. It builds resilience. It forges a mind that no longer needs to be motivated. It simply moves. That's what makes you unstoppable. Not hype, not emotion, but steady, unshakable habits. Let others chase temporary pleasure. Let them live in cycles of regret and restart. But you are building something different, something durable, something divine. Let your life become a blueprint, proof that discipline is not the enemy of joy, but the architect of greatness. So rise with intention, live with structure, and move with purpose, because true freedom is not the absence of boundaries, it's the presence of direction. And discipline, that's the compass that points the way. Don't run from it, run toward it. It's not a chain, it's your crown. You're aiming for a big life, big wins, big impact. But here's the paradox. The biggest outcomes aren't born from massive, dramatic moments. They're built on the smallest decisions, made consistently, without applause, without fanfare, not once in a while, not when you feel like it, but daily. Your future doesn't ask what you did one extraordinary day. It tracks what you always do on the ordinary days. That's where destiny is being formed, right now, in the quiet, in the routine, in the daily habits that either build you or break you. So take a hard look. What small actions have you been tolerating? What seemingly harmless habits have you been neglecting to change? It's easy to shrug off a skipped workout or a late wake-up, but those moments are not neutral. They are laying bricks, either for a palace or a prison. Because here's the truth. Everything compounds. Every choice becomes part of a system, and that system either serves your vision or sabotages it. We underestimate repetition. Brushing your teeth once doesn't save it. Lifting a dumbbell once doesn't heal a relationship. These things require a daily return. Small acts, performed over and over, are what construct the life you dream about. The question you must ask is this: are my current habits worthy of my dreams? Because your routines are your rituals of belief. They are the proof of what you expect from your future. If your habits say, I'll get to it when I feel like it, you're living by emotion, not by vision. And a vision ruled by emotion will always shrink. But when your habits say, I act because this is who I am, then your life begins to grow. Because you're not waiting for success, you're becoming it. Jesus, in Matthew 17:20, spoke of faith as small as a mustard seed. The smallest seed, but packed with the power to move mountains. Why would he say that? Because God doesn't need your perfection, he needs your consistency. A seed planted, a habit formed, a life stewarded. That's where miracles begin. So ask yourself, what seed am I planting every day? When no one is looking, what habits are taking root? Do they align with the legacy I say I want? It's easy to ignore the invisible, but the invisible always becomes visible. The discipline no one sees becomes the confidence everyone notices. The quiet decisions you make today become the loud results you'll carry tomorrow. Never underestimate the silent, hidden power of small habits, repeated over time. They are the difference between progress and stagnation, between momentum and mediocrity, between a life that inspires and a life that simply survives. And here's the truth. Every moment is a seed. Every action, a decision about your direction. You are never standing still. You are always moving toward your dreams or away from them. So choose wisely, choose intentionally, and above all, choose consistently. Because in the end, greatness isn't decided by the size of your ambition. It's decided by the size of your follow-through. And that, my friend, is built one small, faithful step at a time. Everyone talks about legacy, but few realize that legacy is not crafted in eulogies or etched in stone. It is formed in the mundane, daily decisions that shape our character. It's tempting to imagine legacy as something you leave behind once you're gone, but that's an illusion. Legacy is alive right now. It breathes in the patterns you create, the choices you repeat, the attitude you bring to every situation. Pause and reflect. What kind of pattern are you reinforcing each day? Whether you know it or not, your legacy is already being written, not by a single dramatic act, but by your repeated behaviors. So many people wait. They delay the important things, promising themselves that tomorrow will be the day they begin living with purpose. They say, one day I'll get serious, as if time will always wait for them. But one day morphs into someday, and someday into never. Time is not your servant. It will not bow to your procrastination. The only time you own is today. And if today becomes a repeated pattern, if it clones itself 1,000 times, what kind of future will it produce? If your habits don't align with your vision, your legacy will betray your dreams. Purpose delayed is purpose denied. So how do you craft a legacy worth remembering? You don't start with a grand gesture. You start with one small, intentional act, done again and again with faith. Legacy is not a public performance. It is private discipline, compounded over time. It's found in how you speak when no one's watching, how you persevere when no one's cheering, how you honor your values when no one's validating. Your daily choices are bricks in the cathedral of your future. Lay each one with precision. Look at Moses. Not just the Moses who parted the Red Sea, but the Moses who walked the desert in quiet obedience. For 40 years he led without applause. He questioned, he doubted, but he remained faithful. Exodus 3:4. His legacy was not birthed in a single moment of grandeur. It was shaped through years of showing up, listening, and leading. The world remembers the miracles, but God saw the consistency, and it was the consistency that built the man. What about you? Will your daily walk echo into eternity, or will it fade into excuses? You will not be remembered for your intentions. People forget what you meant to do. They remember what you consistently did. Your habits become your history. So write your history on purpose. Speak like the person you want to be remembered as. Move with integrity, not convenience. Build systems around your values. Live today in a way that if it were copied 1,000 times, it would create the story you want to be told. Your legacy is not in the future, it is in the present, multiplying itself with every action you take. Don't ask, will I be remembered? Ask, what will I be remembered for? Because your consistency is not just your discipline, it is your signature on the future. So write it well, live it well, let today matter. Greatness doesn't arrive in a flash. It is forged in repetition, in the quiet, daily commitment to rise, show up, and keep building. Force yourself to be consistent even when motivation fades, because the future doesn't reward intensity, it rewards endurance. Keep going, keep showing up. Your destiny is built in the doing.